It was just another Friday evening. I was coming home from a long, exhausting week at work, just looking forward to a quiet night at home with our kids. I pictured the usual scene, my wife, Rachel, in the kitchen, dinner simmering away, the kids' laughter echoing through the living room. But I was wrong. Rachel had been cheating. I'd known for months, but I needed proof. I had confronted her before, and she just lied, smiled, reassured me, and denied everything. But deep down, the signs were all there. The late-night calls she tried to hide, the sudden trips she claimed were for work, and a coldness between us that I couldn't ignore. I didn't act right away. I waited, I watched, I planned. That evening I decided to come home a little earlier than usual, just enough to catch her if she was trying to sneak back. I pulled into the driveway, took a deep breath, and unlocked the door. The house was silent, way too silent. I walked in, expecting the normal chaos of toys and chatter, the smell of dinner cooking. Instead, everything was perfect, almost staged. The house was unnaturally quiet. I went room by room, checking the closets, the kitchen, the bedrooms. Empty, not a single person in sight. The kids' toys were neatly arranged, like they hadn't even been played with. Then the oven timer went off, but there was no one there to answer it. My heart didn't sink, it steadied. A calm washed over me, replacing the panic. After all, I had planned for this. I suspected she might try to run. She always loved having control, but I was one step ahead. I left a simple, precise note on the kitchen counter. It said, "Rachel, I know everything. I know about him. I know about your lies. I've left. I've taken the children and our essentials. Consider this the moment you realize the consequences of your choices. Don't try to contact me until you're ready to be honest and responsible. Goodbye." Then I packed our bags, just enough for the night, for safety, for a new beginning, and I drove away with our children, leaving behind the home she had completely taken for granted. By the time Rachel got home, the house was empty. She probably expected a confrontation, drama, maybe some tears. She wanted the power, the satisfaction of watching me fall apart. But there was nothing. The home she returned to was silent, stripped of her family, and stripped of her control. Her panic must have set in almost immediately because that's when my phone started blowing up with frantic calls, messages, and emails. She offered excuses, apologies, and explanations, but I ignored them all. In the days that followed, I really felt the true weight of her betrayal. She had chosen someone else over the family we had built, over the trust we had spent years cultivating. She expected me to beg her to stay, to fight for her, to forgive her instantly, but I didn't. I never did. Instead, I focused on rebuilding a life for our children and myself. I found an apartment, we set up new routines, and I made sure they felt secure and loved. I refused to let her choices dictate our happiness, and slowly she began to panic. She hadn't expected me to act so decisively, to take away the power she thought she had over our lives. Her calls grew more desperate, her messages more frantic. She pleaded for explanations, promised she would change, and even tried to use our children's love to get to me. She suggested we just talk as if everything could be fixed. But the truth is, some betrayals aren't fixable, not immediately. I realized something important in those days of silence and distance. Betrayal is like a mirror. It shows you who people really are and what they truly value. Rachel valued her own desires over her family. She valued control over integrity. And in leaving that house empty, in taking our children and reclaiming my own dignity, I showed her that choices have consequences. Weeks passed, and she finally realized her panic wasn't going to undo the damage. She had expected chaos. She expected me to fall apart. Instead, she found calm, resilience, and determination. I wasn't there to punish her. I was there to protect myself and my children. I let the silence speak for me. And in the months that followed, I found a freedom, peace, and clarity that I hadn't felt in years. Rachel, on the other hand, had to face the consequences of her choices every single day. The empty home, the loss of control, and the realization that she had lost the life she took for granted. The lesson I learned is simple, but powerful. Betrayal doesn't just hurt you. It teaches you. It forces you to face reality, to act decisively, and to protect what truly matters. And sometimes the best response isn't confrontation or revenge, it's calm, Measured action, leaving behind nothing but the truth and the consequences of someone else's choices. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this.